Okay, another Fox News alert to tell you about. Just breaking right now, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina will fundraise now for Senator Ted Cruz. Yep. Don't think he ever thought he'd be doing that. Graham says John Kasich is most viable candidate, but doesn't see a path for him. So he says the best alternative to stopping Trump in his mind is Ted Cruz. Let's bring in former Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee. So this is breaking right now, Governor. Great to have you back on The Real Story. I mean, Lindsey Graham said that he made fun of Ted Cruz just a few weeks ago, said he had absolutely no friends in the Senate, nobody would endorse him, and now it looks like he's going to endorse him.
It's just the most remarkable thing, and I was listening to Eric Erickson, who I like and have a great deal of respect for. But when Eric said that we got together and decided that this wasn't going to work, I was screaming at the monitor. Who is we? I thought we had voters. I thought that's what we do. You know, look, I wanted to be the nominee, Gretchen. That's right. Why I ran. But guess what? I'm not. So I'm not going to go start a third party. I'm not going to try to blow up the Republican Party because I didn't get my way. I accept that in an election, voters get to make this decision. And the message that's coming across is the voters are stupid, so we'll figure out a way to make the decision for you because we don't trust your decision.
Right.
Well, Gretchen, newsflash. The voters don't trust the people who have been in power.
Right.
They're sick of them.
Well,
They're tired of their orthodoxy that's hurt them.
I know. I totally hear you. I think what's fascinating to me about this, Governor, is that voters are upset with the establishment as well. But here today on this exclusive call, you have, he said, it's conservative activists. It's not the establishment. So now you have two factions, really going up against Donald Trump, besides the Democrats. And I guess that still stuns you.
No, it does not, because let me explain something about the inner workings of the quote, the conservative activist. The real thing that's going on, and people haven't understood it, what Donald Trump threatens is not just the political orthodoxy. What he threatens is the economic engine of the political consultant class, who always are going to be able to make a lot of money on every election because there's an insular group of consultants and advisors, and these are not people who are in Donald Trump's orbit.
Right.
And they know that if Donald Trump gets elected, it is their economic world. Their power, it disappears, it goes away. They're scared to death that they're going to be in the shape that American workers have been in when they've lost their jobs and they don't have pensions, and it's terrifying to them. Well, guess what? Maybe if they'd have been a little more sensitive about how terrified American workers were, they wouldn't be faced with this. So forgive me if I don't have to get out a box of Kleenex right now and cry all over my britches, because this is about when voters make a decision, you suck it up and accept it. Okay,
I want to get your comments on Paul Ryan, because he had some words about Trump's claim that there would be riots in the street, I'm paraphrasing, with regard to whether or not he gets a nomination.
I saw Boehner last night, and I told him to knock it off. I used slightly different words. I used his own words that he used to use against us when he told us to knock things off. It's not going to be me. It should be somebody running for president. Look, I made a decision over a year ago not to run for president.
Sorry about that, Governor. That was the wrong soundbite. So basically, Paul Ryan had said that he didn't agree with Trump, inciting any kind of a violence. But you know what? Let's talk about what he just said right there, because there's been sort of this stumping going on, too, for Paul Ryan to get in the race, even by former Speaker of the House, John Boehner. And you heard Paul Ryan say, stop pressing me on it. Don't want to do it.
Yeah, I respect Paul Ryan for that, and I think that's the right position, and good for him. Rather than play to his own ego and say, oh, yes, I'm the guy you've all been waiting for, he knows that he didn't take the risk and run, and he's the speaker, and he's got a job to do, and good for him. I think he's taking exactly the right position of saying that if you're going to nominate a person to be president, let it be among those who had the courage to run. And let it also be the one who ended up getting the voters' support. Now, if I got to the convention in Cleveland and they said, oh, you know what, we don't like any of those other guys, we're going to pick Huckabee, I would feel like an idiot to even say, oh, sure, that'd be terrific, because all the voters pick somebody else. But who's going to pick me? A handful of party bosses? I don't think so. That's a kamikaze mission that I wouldn't want any part of. And, when they talk about a third party, Who's crazy enough to be that person who is going to get blamed for the breakup of the Republican Party and for the election of Hillary Clinton? Because I guarantee you they're going to do both things, and I wouldn't want to be a part of that. So tell me, whose ego is so overwhelmingly big that they would allow themselves to be talked into being the third-party candidate? I can't imagine it.
Great points. Governor Mike Huckabee, thanks so much for joining us on The Real Story.